Ladies and gentlemen, it is time. Grab a cold one, crank up the volume, and join the show. Welcome to NBNR Live. And here we go.
It's no block, no rock.
Oh, I should probably put the headphones on.
He probably should put the freaking headphones on.
Are we on?
Yeah.
We're live?
Hey, go big red indeed.
Oh, let's go.
No block, no rock. Episode 231 coming at you from the NBNR studio in Omaha, Nebraska. Seeing as Nebraska Brewing Company is our primary sponsor, let's go around, talk about what we're chugging down here, fellas. I'm only double fisting. I'm not a heathen. I'm a normal man. Just drinking 2 beers. EOS Hefeweizen right now. Later, it's going to be a Cardinal Pale Ale. Oh boy, what do we got? Oh Jesus, Josh, we have done this before. I swear to God.
You got to plug him in. That's usually a rule about microphones.
I usually unplug him when I'm over there and Kyle's not here. So
Yeah. Well, no,
I'm
we
glad you caught it.
usually just unplug him when he starts talking too much.
Yeah, it's like, hey,
Mike just
Connor,
reaches over and goes,
You know what? I appreciate that we're using the word usually
what
and
about
not the other one.
No, I didn't say it. I didn't say it. You can't use it.
is it the right one?
Normally, I prefer backdoor. That's one.
I like the look he gave you. He tried to do a death glare.
he's like, don't do it, Kyle. Kyle,
I
hey,
didn't
welcome
use
back,
the
Kyle.
word.
Or
Welcome
else.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, thank you. I'm glad to be back. The Mizuno Oklahoma State softball project is almost done. So I'm done traveling. So I'm back.
Kyle, can you give the audience just a nice go Pokes? You going to do that?
Go Pokes.
There you go.
That was nice.
Thanks.
I mean, I wasn't really convinced, but
Is there?
Neat.
I feel like Trev might appreciate that little.
And then smack your ass.
Yeah.
little thumbs up. Yeah. Mike, what are you drinking?
All right.
Cut the bullshit. Let's go.
All right. Let's talk about our other sponsor, Draft Top. Let's do this real quick.
Twist.
I'm drinking the pills, guys,
Twist.
because I just like to piss Connor off. So I'm drinking his pills.
No mess.
Look at this. No mess.
Not yet.
And at NBNR, we like to drink with our tops off. So we take our top off, smooth edge.
Nice.
It's like
Oh,
drinking
it's
out of
rad.
a glass. The way your beer was designed to be drank.
I like it.
Just like that.
Yeah, your little tab
So-
thing. That's primitive.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I feel
Look
like
at
I'm like a loser now.
So Draft Top, guys, is one of the sponsors of NBNR. You take the top right off your beer. You can use our promo code, and it's actually on our TikTok shop now. You can buy one of these on our TikTok shop and support the podcast. So we
Dude,
appreciate you.
Hey.
and we got to talk with the Draft Top team this
Couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple weeks ago. They're dropping a bunch of new colors, new designs, everything
do.
like that too.
Yeah, like pink and lime and bright orange.
Yeah, a
to-
bunch of neon
for all the
stuff.
hunters out there.
Oh.
Yeah.
You can do the bright orange so you don't get shot while you're taking the top off.
Always important.
Always
Yeah.
I want to have a beer and I don't want to get shot.
Wait, is that guy taking his top off?
Get him.
Thank God it's
wait,
orange.
no.
Oh, he's got the orange
Yeah.
top. He's got the orange top. We're good.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Got her. Go.
Connor, what you got?
So Mike mentioned that I always drink the pills. I am addicted to pills, the beer.
All right.
Yeah, no, you knew I was making that
Alright.
joke. I've done it before, but
Many
I
times.
did wait just to do this. Just a clean crack on the
Beautiful.
mic. But yeah, the Pilsner. Mike, I'm surprised you didn't drink an EOS today. Tell me, what do you always say about EOS?
So I already had three EOS before the show started.
Jesus.
I said,
Get
you
her
know,
going. It's
we're
a
going to get
Monday
pills
night, I
just to
guess.
piss Connor off. We're going to have one of his
No,
pills. He has
three?
a 6-pack in there.
Yeah, no, but the Pilsner, in my opinion, is the best beer we make. But everybody's got their own opinion, and I have a feeling I'm going to throw this over to Kyle Byers, and he's got something to say about that.
Well, everybody else is kind of long-winded, so I'll just say I'm drinking the EOS Hefeweizen, best beer at Nebraska Brewing Company.
Well, look, when Mike has 3 beers before the show even starts. All right, hey,
Here early.
yeah, he did. Helps. Hey, he could just walk. He just walk here,
Thank you.
and we got to drive a half freaking hour. It's fine.
Yeah.
All right. Josh Peterson.
What up?
Listen, I'm going to run through all your credentials here.
Okay.
Let me know if I miss anything.
All right. Do you want me to say what I'm drinking first?
Yeah, do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
Pale
do that.
ale.
The
Cardinal.
Cardinal Pale Ale.
Yes, please. Thank you very
Beer that
much.
started Nebraska Brewing Company.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Always tasty. All right. Tell me about how cool I am.
Lather me up. Co-host of Unsportsmanlike Conduct on 1620 The Zone.
Mm-hmm.
You host your own podcast called Chasing 3 Hours.
On a bit of a hiatus right now.
Okay.
but Yes.
Technically, you're still
It's still there.
doing that.
Yes. The episodes are not deleted.
Yeah, you could say
They will exist forever.
You do the I-80 Club.
Oh, yeah.
Mostly with shows with a friend of the program, Jack Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
We love
Always
Jack.
fun.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Love
He is
Jack.
so freaking funny.
He's awesome. What am I missing? What am I missing? Am I missing anything?
Didn't you run the Boston Marathon?
I ran the Boston Marathon.
There it is.
Okay.
Add it to the list.
I have it right here. I have Marathon Man, and I
I
freaking missed it.
So I'm a Cowboys fan, so my team is never going to win the Super Bowl. But if they did, I would wear a hat celebrating it every day. And so I think I've worn this hat almost every day since I ran Boston, just as a reminder to me that I got to run Boston. So
Hell yeah.
this is my Dallas Cowboys championship that I will never get, but in the running world.
That's super sick. I 2 questions.
Yeah.
One, I've never run a marathon. But I do know what like a good time. What was your time on the Boston Marathon?
I ran a 2:58:46.
That is very
Yeah,
good.
Boston. Thank you.
That is
Thank
very
you.
good.
Thank you.
Second
I
question.
know these numbers. What does that mean?
I'm assuming
that-
that's
2
good.
hours,
Is that good?
58 minutes.
Because
Yeah,
you know what my
okay.
number is?
0.
Yeah,
fucking 0.
I've never done it. Like 2:58 is very good.
Okay.
Second question.
Yeah.
Do you think you could beat me in a 40?
Look at him.
Yes.
Oh, you're so wrong.
It's a good answer. 'Cause
Yeah.
He lost a race to a girl. So
Okay, first of all,
Oh,
she
boy.
ran track in college for Mankato State, and I lost by a half step.
Not in these shoes tonight, but I could take you.
I ran
maybe I could take you.
I run a 4.6.
Even with those, yeah.
I don't believe that.
You shouldn't. That's such a lie. God, no. I'm lucky to
6'4".
run a
You run
5.6.
6'4".
Yeah,
You had me going.
I'm lucky to run a 5.6.
I don't know what my 40 time would be, man. I haven't done that since I was a kid.
Hear me out. We do a Nebraska media combine.
Oh, sign me up.
That would be sick.
Yes.
We have
I
all
want
the
people to
media members.
respect my athletic gifts that I have as a runner. I wouldn't be able to do anything else well, but I can run
Yeah.
really far.
Can you catch
Well-
footballs?
I don't know. It's been a while. I don't remember the last time I caught a football.
Put those gloves on, stick them on those gloves.
Yeah.
For like a Nebraska media combine, though, do you add like cornhole? Do you add like tailgating
No.
games?
They don't
No,
tailgate.
this is-
They have to work.
This is Nebraska
true.
media, though. Like they're also not competing on the field. I
Right.
think you add like a Nebraska tailgating combine. I think you got to develop
No.
that.
Nope.
These are good ideas. I like the ideas.
You
Yeah.
like it? You like those?
I like ideas.
Yeah,
There
you
you
don't
go.
have to say
Maybe
they're good.
not his
I just
ideas.
like
There's
ideas.
almost nothing I said
It's
is
always good to start with ideas and maybe whittle them down.
Big idea guy over here.
I love ideas. Mike Schaefer, who I know has been on the pod before, that guy has the best ideas. Like
Yep.
his idea hit rate is 90-something%.
Really?
Yeah. Now we never execute any of them, but if we did, they would be really good. Really good ideas.
Hey, okay. Another thing that I missed too.
Yeah.
Is as of late you have been taken to the written word. You're now a column writer.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so like one of
Made
the
people mad a few weeks ago.
you did.
Yeah.
I wasn't really planning on going into that.
We can, though.
We can, I guess.
We can.
A
because-
real Bill Shakespeare over here.
Well, because one of the things I have is, Bill Moose is going to be releasing a book.
I cannot wait.
But
I
here's the
just
thing.
want the Nebraska chapters.
Right. Well, nobody wants to hear about Scott Frost anymore. Or should I say Scott?
There it is.
Thank you.
There we
Yes.
go.
I actually would rather not talk about that column because I was told that people don't want to hear about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I saw the metrics on the story. I don't think those
Dude.
people are right.
Yeah, I think you did okay. I bet.
It was yes.
We don't want to relitigate. Yes, you do.
People love talking about Scott Frost.
Yes, they do.
People love it. We could just make the thumbnail Scott Frost, and people would be like, "All right, I'll check it out for a few minutes."
Angry click.
Yeah. People love it.
We're big fans of it. It's former head coach Scott.
Okay, I
So
apologize.
Next time you write an article, make sure you include that.
I like the little bleep to it.
Yeah, so we
that's
don't
good.
actually say former quarterback Scott Frost, but when
former head coach Scott.
yeah, Yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
See,
I
it's perfect.
like it. It's a way to, delineate
Yeah,
between.
they're two different people.
They really are.
They are.
Yeah.
Look at them.
Yeah. He's a different looking person.
Yes. Yeah, with the F and the asterisk after. It's really
Yeah.
cute. It's really cute. Because it could be fuck.
We do that. We do that too. We do that too.
Okay. I guess, listen, we are full speed ahead on football now.
Yes, thank God.
Thank God.
We are just
Nobody has to pretend
right.
with any of the other sports
Well,
anymore.
hold on, let me
Hey, we
pretend.
had hope.
Let me pretend for a second.
wait, which game did you have hope?
Yeah, dude.
That's
When it was 0-0 in the top of the first.
Yes.
There's a chance.
That first game against Oklahoma, I believe, did we not make it into the third inning at zeros?
No.
No.
The last one? No.
No,
the first.
You
No,
said
the
the
first.
first.
I'm sorry.
game against Oklahoma. We made it into the third.
It was a bit of a pitcher's duel for a second there.
For a
The
blink.
For
Holy
2 minutes.
Cross game was awesome, and it was really fun talking with the people that were around me during that game. And they're like, "We're gonna do it." And I was like, "This is Holy Cross, big dog." It's like no matter how you get out of this,
I
you got either
know.
Oklahoma or North Carolina, and we saw,
Say a prayer for Holy Cross.
yeah, and we saw how North Carolina dealt with Oklahoma today.
That would have been
Is it-
fun.
Would it?
That would have been really fun.
I didn't have fun the last game.
See, I'm the type of guy that, I see like Murray State go out there. Why not us? If Murray State can fucking do it.
No.
Did Murray
Right
State
state.
get it done?
Right? State.
Just something about Nebraska. The answer is just because it's Nebraska.
Yeah.
Sadly, it's not, how good or bad. It's just Nebraska.
It's like the most simplistic
It really is.
Occam's razor answer.
Mhm.
And it sounds like a cop out. It's because Nebraska's different.
Yeah.
But it just is.
Yeah. Jack Mitchell's been saying that for years, that there's something about this place and that this fan base has dealt with more heartache than anybody, even fans of the Cubs between 1908 and 2016. He says Nebraska fans have it worse than them.
Do you believe that Tom Osborne made a deal with the devil to win
it's
Natties? Like,
Hard to
you've heard
argue,
that,
right? It's hard to argue. I mean, look at what's happened to the program since then. They were good for 40 years and now they've been horrible.
Literally
no,
the best. Hold on.
The
I just-
worst.
Yeah,
Like one of the worst now.
Well, I just want to reiterate to everybody the most winningest program for 40 years.
Yeah.
And that's that's the greatest run that I think any sports team, any sports franchise has ever done. And I will die on that hill.
I saw a stat the other day. John and I were talking about it on Unsportsmanlike Conduct, where it said it was like most wins in the last 5 years. And it was all the Big Ten teams, right? It was a graphic. And I was like, wow, they only have 22 Big Ten wins. That is nuts. And then I realized, wait, that's wins. It's not Big Ten wins. It was wins.
Like Fordham and
Yes.
Yeah.
Buffalo in 2021. And I was like, wait a second, this graphic is wrong because they were in last. I was like, this graphic is wrong. And so I was like, okay, 3 in 2020. And I was like 3 in 20. I was like, John, actually, I think this is
Yeah.
all the wins. And then I keep doing the math in my head. I'm doing the math days later. And I'm like, it still adds up to 22. That's 4.2 wins a year or whatever.
don't forget Bethune-Cookman too. That's
Bethune-Cookman.
one.
So you guys have heard the phrase, like, I'm just built different. Poorly. That's us as a football program right now.
Yeah.
I think you have to be built different to be. And these fan bases are identical. Nebraska football fans and Cowboy football fans. You are a
interesting.
sicko.
Yeah.
Only good in the 70s and the 90s.
Yeah.
Like dominated
Great
eras,
times.
right?
Yeah.
And have been just. Oh, okay. Cowboys not near as bad.
Yeah.
But
they go to the
Nebraska,
playoffs sometimes.
Bad.
Yeah, my
Bad.
my
Terrible.
dad, he lived in Plano, Texas, so that's why he was a fan of the
Rex Burkhead.
Cowboys. There you go, nice. And in the 90s, he had the greatest moment of his entire fandom that he will never replicate, including in January of 96, Nebraska plays in the Fiesta Bowl at the beginning of the month, and then at the same stadium, the Cowboys play the Steelers and win their last Super Bowl. And then the next year was when I started becoming a fan of the Cowboys.
Wow.
And so I have had, we were talking before we got going about what's the first year you remember? Dallas Cowboys for me, 96. It is hell. It is, I don't have anything. I could show you an old YouTube video that's in 4x3 and the turf at Texas Stadium looks weird, but
Which
I don't remember
which
it.
pixel are they? I don't know.
It's so sad.
I love that you used a very specific phrase there.
What was that?
And you said the Cowboys won their last Super Bowl.
Yeah.
and it is going to be their last.
Yes, yeah, but like the implication that there's another one to come.
You don't really believe that.
That they won't ever win one?
No,
They will.
I don't believe Nebraska will ever win another national championship.
That's different.
But
Of course
I
not,
do
yeah.
believe the Cowboys will win another Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they've got more money than
Dak Prescott won't win one.
No, he definitely won't. I've given up on him. I guess they could but even when Jerry, when the thing happens to old people, his son sucks too. Like Steven is horrible too.
Incestuous.
Do you want to hear some real pain?
Yeah.
I'm a Colts fan.
You got a Super Bowl though.
Yeah, but the thing happened to my franchise within the last week.
Yes, that's true.
The thing. That thing that happens to really old, rich.
what you OD'd on cocaine or something. Because I'm sure that's what he did.
I do want to be clear, like R.I.P. Jim Irsay. I do believe he did a lot of really great things for his community. I wish he would have sold the franchise prior.
Yeah. Because who is taking over now?
It's his daughter who has been over the last few years very involved.
Okay.
I wish he would have sold the franchise. So
Anyway, bottom line.
yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Same
Bad
thing
times.
here, yeah.
Bad times. Yeah.
Okay, so wait, Josh, you're on the on the train that Nebraska's never going to win another national championship.
Of course.
Of course, he's probably the conductor.
I think. Well, okay.
You've got to be the conductor.
Are we all on that?
Well, we're all on it, but
We're all
I
on
think
that,
Josh
right?
is the
You're not?
conductor.
He's not. Wow.
I
He's always been the more hopeful one.
He is him and Connor are like the rainbows and sunshine of the pod, which isn't like our pod is no rainbows and sunshine.
Yeah, I'm sensing that. I like it.
Of the four,
Yeah.
it's those two and us.
The
two.
positive boys.
Yeah,
No,
no,
listen,
listen, positive boys. That's a good way to put it.
This has no I guess it's not just like that because I'm a fan of Nebraska. I just think statistically, never is not. You just can't say
It's a long time.
yeah. Like if you say they're never going to do something ever again, statistically,
Odds are in
what
our
are the
favor.
odds? The odds are in our favor.
It's just so hard in college football, right? Like, I find it hard pressed to believe now that the Cowboys will, but that's just me wallowing in my sadness, right? But it's the NFL. Anything can happen in the NFL. And forever is a long time. College football is just so different, with the strengths and disadvantages that program to program can have. And unless there's a population boom in Nebraska, I just think it's going to be really, really difficult.
We need people to start having kids, but with
More
athletes.
sex.
Yeah. More sex in Nebraska.
Well, we need Florida and Texas to start going underwater. And then
Global
move on,
warming could help Nebraska.
It's
an interesting argument to
climate
make.
change.
Everybody buy Hummers.
That's right.
No.
Start your car and just leave it running all day long. See what will happen.
Do
this for the Huskers.
But so legitimately, I'm with Kyle here because we've seen obviously through the Mike Riley era, we always had solid recruiting classes. With our last head coach prior to Matt Rule, they were still decent. But
Sure.
I think we're seeing a recruiting renaissance.
Mm.
And while, are we winning a natty in the next 10 years? God, no. To say never, though.
It's a long
Never
time.
say never.
I will
right?
say this.
I
If you-
think in 25 years, there's a decent chance.
I'll say this. If you want to make an argument for Nebraska winning another natty, I would actually look at Michigan winning one a few years ago. And I'd look at Notre Dame. Because, for the majority of our lifetimes, Notre Dame has been Nebraska where it's that team can win again. Hell no, they can't. Now they're recruiting suddenly a much higher level than I ever remember them recruiting at least since Lou Holtz days. And Michigan, now, they won in a very specific moment in time of portal and players being 25 on the roster because of COVID eligibility, right?
And spying on other
cheating.
teams.
Cheating,
That
yes,
was
those
cool. I don't know
things.
what you're Can we cheat?
Yeah.
Can we?
Matt Rule just starts spying on people.
Please.
But I think that helped them. Now, will that be replicable for the Wolverines? We'll see. But those would be the schools that I would look at because I don't view Ohio State as a northern school. They are an SEC school that's in the north. But I think Notre Dame and Michigan have more similarities to Nebraska than an Ohio State does.
But Michigan, there's a talent pool in the state of Michigan.
True.
Population wise.
Yes.
Nebraska
Hell, even
doing
with
what
Indiana.
they did. Doing what they did for 40 years is literally the most astonishing thing in sports. That should never happen in a place that we are in the middle of the United States, the population we have, etc. It should have never happened to begin with. So I don't ever seeing it happen again because There's no way it's going to happen.
All it takes is 1 year out of never.
Got a infinity.
1 year.
That's why people they like to uphold the Signetti thing because it's like, hey, 1 year. Just give me just one.
Year
I
of
don't even want
happiness.
40 years. I don't want 40 years, Mike.
Just Google me.
1 year. One fucking year. Where can you just trip and fall into
Isn't that wild that they still haven't done that?
just once.
One fun win.
But you know what? In
Not one.
the next
One Ohio
billion,
State upset,
yeah, just one upset, one game that you're not supposed to win.
and you win somehow.
Well, just don't grab Ja'Cory Barney across the middle against Ohio State, at the horseshoe, and maybe you have a chance.
Or don't have Satterfield as your OC.
Yeah.
You have to build your
Pro.
base to get to those natties, right? You have to build your base to get to bowl games. I'm throwing this off the backboard. When Nebraska's era of dominance started, what program was it that brought Nebraska to the forefront? It's the weight program, right?
Okay.
It was the weight program that helped move this forward.
Go on.
Yes, Boyd. Hey,
When you
Boyd,
look
meet
at-
me in the stall,
definitely
Boyd.
also been on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look at that and you look at modern recruiting, obviously a lot of programs across the country have taken pages out of Boyd Epley's book as far as their weight programs go, and they've developed upon that and gotten much better. When you look at modern recruiting, you're looking at facilities. Nebraska is very much at the forefront there. So as long as we're maintaining and continuing to keep pace with these other programs and their weight programs and continuing to progress in our facilities, I don't see any reason that Nebraska couldn't continue to be a competitor or, frankly, if we're looking at the last 15 years, become a competitor again.
Well, okay, just real quick. For the last, we'll just say the last 20 years, we have seen what was previously an advantage for Nebraska start to fall off, right? The whole not being on TV as much.
Oh, yeah.
The what's that called? Scholarships. You could have players on your scholarship.
Prop 48?
Prop 48.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
That was good.
the Big 12 and Big 8 teams voting against Nebraska out of spite. All that for the past 20 years, all those advantages have fallen away.
Mhm.
And yes, even though I don't think that they will win a natty ever again, yes, even if we're around for the next 5 billion years, I don't. When the sun fucking explodes, I don't think we're gonna hoist another trophy.
Oregon won't either, so it's fine.
Probably not. But I think maybe some of these advantages can start to sway back in Nebraska's favor, just with
Because of the global warming.
the global warming.
Yeah, because I'm gonna run my
Because the-
car
because the-
24/7.
Yeah. Let me go outside right now.
Dude, so the global warming and the fact that, dude, we're just so invested in this that it has to pay dividends in some way eventually,
No.
right?
Maybe the eventually is that upset win over, like, what if they beat Penn State this year? That'd be fun.
I'm
They
going.
beat
so
Penn
better be
State
fun.
happy.
Are
dog.
you really?
Fuck
Have you
yeah.
ever been there before?
No.
Good luck.
It's a bitch to get to.
Yeah, it's
That's why
horrible.
I haven't done it. And we've only played them like 2 times since we joined the Big Ten.
That's true.
So
Yeah.
I have to go if I'm.
And it's been, 8 years since the last time
Yeah.
that they were up there?
Yeah.
17.
exactly.
Kenny Bell return?
No, that was 13. 2017. So I'm
God, that was the Riley and
yeah, bad times. I'm putting together a project right now for the IIT Club that has required me to go back and look at each one of Nebraska's 70 losses. And
Oh God.
You are a sick.
and that was a game that I actually had zero memory of. I remember things in my life that surrounded that game. I actually watched it with Jack, with my co-host John, and then with Mike Schaefer at Schaef's old house. And I pulled up highlights. I remembered zero.
I don't remember
Saquon
it at
Barkley
all.
scored on like the first play of the game. I had no recollection of this. It was like an 80-yard touchdown, and he just blows by everybody. But I was like, I don't remember that play. Yeah.
Well, I remember, they were blowing us out, and then like we scored a few times at the
A
end.
lot of points in the fourth quarter for
Yeah.
Nebraska. Yeah.
And I just remember that kind of being
POB might have come in that game, or was that against Minnesota earlier
Oh
that
God,
year?
POB,
Uh-huh.
the one and only, the one and only POB.
Friend of the Grum. We got him. I drove into Unsportsmanlike Conduct. I drove to our studio on a Saturday to talk to, and John came to Omaha from Lincoln on a Saturday so we could do an interview with an 18-year-old
Th-
high school
Doesn't
quarterback.
that sound like insane now?
Yes.
Like,
I first of all, I don't want to talk to a high school kid. Second of all, why would I drive to the station? I'll just hop on the internet and we'll do it over. We'll do it on StreamYard.
the
like
one
normal
good
people.
thing. One good thing about COVID is
Thank
that.
God. Seriously.
Thank God for COVID.
We used to drive to the station for recorded interviews. Like, John, sorry, you got to get to the station at 10 today, even though he lives in Lincoln. And so he'd be like, all right, I guess I'm driving to Omaha at 8:30 so I can do a 10 a.m. interview and then sit at the office the rest of the day.
John has worked on that station for that long and just hasn't just like picked up and moved to Omaha.
Correct.
He's like,
Very
I
strange.
love driving an hour every morning.
Every day.
Yeah,
Does that every
sounds
day.
terrible.
Can you imagine it's like a Friday and you're like, hell yeah, baby. The weekend is here. And then you're like, I can't wait to get home at 7:30.
and you're doing this for the next
Because he
hour
lives
and a
on the other side of Lincoln. So he doesn't get home at 7. He gets home at like 7:15. And that's if traffic is good.
Which it's not because of all the construction right now.
So think about the winter, when it snows or a rainy day or just an accident or, as you said, the construction. And it's like, all right, cool. Have fun driving.
Wow.
Horrible every day.
I would have moved to Omaha.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. What's keeping him there? I mean, I know it's Lincoln, and you get the university.
I think for a while it was his
Creighton's
kids.
here. He's
Yeah.
a Creighton guy.
Yeah. He's the voice of the Blue Jays. For a while, I think it was his kids, Sure. I don't know. Every now and then I'm like, you ever going to move here? And he's like, nope. And I'm like, all right, I just won't follow up on it. So if you ever have him on, you can ask him and see if he'll give you a good answer.
Maybe
Let's kick his ass.
Get him.
Buy a house in Omaha that won't require you to, mow a dangerous yard or whatever.
Break your wrist.
What a dingus.
Oh.
Brutal. Okay. The next thing I have on here.
Yeah.
We're seeing some special teams changes. We all trust in Mike Eckler, yes?
I think so.
Time.
Time.
Hashtag time. Trust in Mike Eckler. New snapper. New punter. New kicker.
Maybe.
Mike, come on. This is your thing.
I would think so. Well, let's
go.
go. Let's go around the room, guys. We have a surplus of kickers
A lot of kickers.
do.
with no
Like in 2019. A lot of kickers.
a lot of kickers.
Not as many defensive backs, but
kicking the ball. Yeah. Who do we think is going to be the kicker this year? Like, do we think that Tristan Ovano is gonna it's gonna click for him finally?
No.
Do we think John Hull isn't gonna go when the moment gets there?
That's why I'm saying John Hole, because I just want to go when the kick goes wide left. Because that hole went wow. It puckered up. All right. John Hole is my starter.
John Hull's your starter.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Fuck it.
Uh,
Mike Eckler fixed him. I can fix him.
no, you can't.
That's what Mike
That's
Eckler
like why
said.
Mike
He's like
Eckler-
hurt right now, though, or was hurt.
Yeah,
He'll figure it out. It's fine.
I don't know. Kickers getting injured is scary.
Yeah, especially
Because
with the
it's
whole leg thing.
Because you're like, why are you hurt? But what did you do?
Well, I went like
Are you an
this.
old person? Like me getting hurt, I'm in my 30s. Like it makes sense. Like he's a college kid. Like
Running
how are you
back.
getting hurt?
Were you running? Like,
See, yeah. I
because they don't run.
I can talk to him about my hamstring injury that I had. I'm like, you want to talk about that, John Hull? But you're 20. Like, what are you doing? How did you injure yourself?
John.
But he did make that kick against Ohio State.
He made that one
was
kick
a long
that
kick.
one time.
Nebraska kickers, including Alvano, can make the long kicks
Yeah.
because there's less pressure.
Because
You can't make the short.
expects him to make it.
That's right.
The 30-yarders, though, when
everyone
it
needs
actually
it.
matters.
You remember the Alvano? Remember the Alvano kick? Like he set the freaking record.
Yeah, I thought he was going to
Against
be like
Maryland.
the best kicker since Chris Brown.
Yeah.
After he made that, and he has been not the best
No.
kicker since Chris Brown.
So are
Chris
you
Brown.
are you on the John Holt train with me, Josh? Or
I
what?
don't know. I mean, like seriously, an injury to a kicker is just so strange.
Yeah.
You know, I was pleasantly surprised by him throughout much of last year.
He was fine.
Starting with the Ohio State game, right?
Iowa Western transfer.
Yeah.
Right?
Now
Or not?
every time he missed, it was always it's not his fault. It's the hold or the snap,
Right.
The other parts of a kick. So I don't know. I have
mean-
no
Not as-
idea.
He's not as bad as maybe like we would come here on a Sunday after they lost.
Oh, do Cornhusker counseling?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do a little
Yeah.
reaction show Sunday mornings after the games. Says Cornhusker counseling.
He's probably not as bad as maybe we made him out to be on some days. But no, dude, you're right. That's why Mike Eckler said, I gotta get a new snapper. I gotta get a new kicker. I gotta
Wants to
just
do everything.
I gotta change everything.
Literally everything.
And so they got this new punter today.
Yep.
Of course, he's
Aussie.
he's a bloke. Right? Am I doing it right? Crikey.
No.
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 I don't see it.
All right.
I thought
Okay.
it started okay.
He did okay. Then it got worse.
I like my
It
crikey.
did.
Crikey. Crikey. Fuck you. That's good. No. Same kicking academy as Tory Taylor. Sure.
Sure.
Why not?
Let's do it.
Whatever. Don't
know,
they
you're-
all go to the same kicking
There's
schools?
only got to be one
Yeah.
over there.
Right,
Why would they have more kicking schools in Australia?
For American football.
Yeah, exactly. That makes sense.
It's like, no, actually, this one I do with my hands.
So rugby style, going off to the side. Do you like
You can
like
run
this?
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you have a little bit of.
Well, I always think of, speaking of one of the last 70 losses, I always think of the Illinois game in 2020 when the punter just was like, "Oh, nobody's here.
Sick. Let's
I'll
run for
take a
40
few
yards.
steps and I'll get a first down." So I'm in on that. I am very much, and this has come back to bite me many times over the last few years, where it's like, I'm going to trust this coach implicitly. But I think I'm going to do that with Eckler.
Yeah.
Why is trusting a coach let me down in recent years?
Not
I'm going to
doing
do
it.
it again.
Not doing it.
So
He's different.
Yeah.
I love that because I didn't have a good answer to this. I think I'm just going with time. Trust in Mike Eckler.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know who the best answer is here. I'm not seeing him every day. He is.
He is.
Well, we've heard
That's a good fan answer right there.
Yeah.
We've heard
Well,
that they make the kicks in practice, right?
Sure they do.
They blast the
I don't-
music. Hey, John. And you have the players around him going, "Ah!" And, he makes the
Then
kick.
he
and
drills it.
Yeah, he drills it.
We are all sickos in this room right now.
Yeah.
We're all sickos. We're all watching it constantly, but we still have no goddamn idea what's going on. You know who does?
Mike Eckler.
Mike Eckler.
Sure.
Or he doesn't.
At this moment, like,
That'd be great if he's like,
Yeah.
no, I'm actually like you guys. I don't know.
I don't
I see it
know.
every day. And I'm like,
he's just flipping
The
a coin
transfer
every
they picked
day.
up actually had a worse kicking percentage than John Holt.
awesome.
Yeah, but no. There's a reason why. There's a reason why he's bringing these guys in.
You're overthinking it.
Yeah, probably.
I'm a numbers guy.
Oh,
No.
Can I go conspiracy Connor for a second?
Oh boy.
Is that
shit.
are you being 100% on kickers brought in have worse percentage than John Hall?
He does like just
Perfect.
slightly. I think it's less attempts.
the Cal
Perfect.
transfer?
like one less attempt, same amount of makes. I think.
Okay, perfect. I'm going conspiracy Connor for a second.
Okay.
Bringing in guys with you said same amount of makes, less attempts. It's to get John Hall worked up. Like, we need you. We need you to be focused.
He got so
Because
worked up,
the
he got
si-
hurt.
Well,
His
yes.
hammy went, "Zzz,"
Yeah.
or is- right? Can we do that with hammies?
I don't know. Josh,
That's a rubber
Josh's
band.
hammy's
Can we
fucked.
make a $6 million
It sucked.
man?
I don't know what happened. I don't know what noise it made, but I was saying, ow.
Snap.
I stopped my run.
No, I'm saying bring in shittier competition.
To make them feel better about themselves?
Yeah. Boost that. Kickers. I had this conversation, what was it? Not this last week, but the week prior, about how kickers are weird, right? They're like pitchers.
They're very strange.
Yeah, they're strange people. Sure. You need to get them feeling good about themselves. So
At least I'm not
think-
that guy.
Yeah.
It's not even about my kicks are going in, at least.
Dude,
Have you seen Bob?
Yeah, that guy sucks.
He missed so many of his kicks.
Yeah. I'm
Such
gonna
a
bring
shitty
some-
plan.
I'm going to recruit one kicker a year that's just absolute ass.
Name the last
To
time
just make my guys feel good about what they're
Dude.
doing and keep them in the right headspace.
Name-
Conspiracy Connor right there.
Name any other. Our depth sucks. Yay.
No. You only bring in one guy. You have a designated ass.
For every position, though?
No, just for kicker.
Okay.
No, just for
You
kicker.
got the really shitty quarterback, make Dylan feel good about himself.
No, we've seen that before.
Yeah, they brought in that Pavia or fucking name it.
Marcos Davila.
Davila.
Yeah.
Purdue
Yeah, they
dude.
brought in a shitty quarterback.
Just to make it feel better.
Yeah, they're like, this guy's never playing.
Yeah.
Dylan, don't worry about him.
Yeah.
Hey, Marcos, give me some water. Thanks, buddy.
I watched him play at the spring game. It's not far off.
So
His second pass was a pick.
we had asked after the spring game, what did you learn from the spring game?
Yeah.
And I said, bruh, you know what I learned? If Dylan gets hurt, we are
It's toast. Game over.
Can you imagine?
Well, no, you've got Harburg.
Yeah.
He's a
Hold on.
tight end.
I think Harburg gets more hate than is really deserved. I think Harburg is serviceable.
For what?
He's going to win you a few games.
No, he's not.
Well, I mean, he did, though.
He did.
Yeah, he
He
did.
almost took him to a bowl.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No,
but
like
he completes 50% of his passes.
I know. Hey, I'm not trying to defend the guy.
No, I said serviceable.
Yes.
I did not say like we're gonna go like win a ball game or anything like that. I think Harburg gets more hate than is deserved.
We barely won a bowl game with Dylan Raiola.
See, you're not. No, Harburg doesn't get hate. He doesn't get any hate.
No, everybody loves
No.
Harburg.
What he gets is constructive,
Criticism?
realistic. Yeah, when you're 50%, you're 50%. We're just
no,
saying.
I get that.
It's like
Anthony
I
Richardson.
get that.
Anthony
But so
Richardson.
I'm saying that. So brother.
He's
You're
a tight
Trevor
end.
Lawrence fan. Calm
There's a
down.
reason why he's that tight end right
Richardson
now.
is also a tight end.
That's not why we're here.
Sorry.
This is not an NFL podcast.
Yeah.
No.
But I'm saying, like, if you have a minor injury to Dylan, where he's out for 2-3 quarters or maybe one game, Heinrich Harburg can fill that slot.
No, he's not a quarterback anymore. He's not going to fill that spot.
I think that's a
I'm
good
saying
discussion
he
we could have.
can.
He's not going to play quarterback
Are we,
next year.
are we
He'll
putting,
play Wildcat, maybe. He's not playing quarterback.
If it was a long-term injury,
If it's a long-term injury,
I don't know.
that's
I
a
think all bets
separate-
might be off.
you're going to put, all due respect, sorry, you're going to put Jalen Gramstad in?
I'm not. I wouldn't be.
But he's NAIA Player of the Year.
Yeah.
He won the Heisman in NAIA.
Yeah. No.
We doing
Like
that?
shorter than I am.
My number 2 right now, if it's a short-term injury, my number 2 is Heinrich Harburg.
See, if it's short-term, I think that's different. But if it's long-term, I do wonder if they'd be like, crap, old reliable. He started a lot of games, you know.
Mhm.
He started upwards of 10 games, 9 games. I think they do it again.
I think so.
I really do. Much to the chagrin of Harburg.
I don't know.
Just when I had the tight end thing down.
Yeah.
My route
I got to
running
throw
was
it again.
My blocking was really good. And
he's
now
putting all that weight on, though, to play tight end.
fuck.
He's big Harburg now.
Okay.
Well,
so I think what we've learned is Dylan.
Don't get
Stay
it.
healthy.
Don't do the John Hall thing or the Josh Peterson thing.
Don't hurt your hamstring, Dylan.
Don't do it.
You can't even run very well.
He doesn't run to begin with.
No, he doesn't.
Okay,
You can run better than him.
dude, here's the thing, right? So we had Mitch Sherman on a month ago, whatever. We asked him, what is it about Dylan's game? If we want this team to win 9 games, what's the one thing you're looking from Dylan? And he said the ability to run, basically.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting here going, yeah.
Shit.
But I don't want him to get hurt either. And you know what? And that's the thing. Maybe the coaching staff is telling him, don't run because we need you. And maybe that's kind of getting in his head. I don't know. I'm a fan. I don't watch the guys practice or whatever. Like, what if that's in his head a little bit? Like, maybe the coaches don't want him to run. He's got a lane.
Did you not watch the bowl game, though? Remember when he ran and like
He slid too early?
The phantom slid early thing happened? and then,
He pressed the square button too early.
yeah,
Way too early.
way too early, and then got in the guy's face like he was
And
trying
then
to take him
they
out.
Picked up 15 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
maybe
good at
that's
getting
what he does.
15-yard penalties.
What if he started doing that? What if that was his new bit? He's going to run. He's going to slide early. He's going to get hit, and then he's going to get a 15-yard penalty. First down.
They're going to make a new rule.
The
It's gonna be
Dylan rule?
called the Dylan rule.
That's
Yeah.
2 Dylan rules. You know what the first one
The
was?
Dylan rule, Iowa.
Is that the pass interference?
Lofting the ball up.
Yeah, and they just don't call it anymore. It's like, all right, Dylan got so many pass interference calls
He
in
really
the first
did.
6-7 games. They're like, yeah, actually, we're not going to call pass interference anymore for 15. Even if they tackle him, not happening.
Man, if you start including those pass interference plays into his yardage, his deep ball's suddenly pretty good.
Yeah.
Right? He was drawing a lot of pass interference penalties on those.
Purdue was fun. We were at Purdue.
What was that, like
fun.
5 or 6?
7.
Yeah.
Oh my
was
gosh,
7, right?
That was
7.
ridiculous.
We talked about this a lot. Do you believe that Dylan was throwing those intentionally? Because a lot of them were
Yes.
kind of short.
Yes.
Do you believe he was throwing those short because he was trying to draw them, or do you
Yes.
think they were short and he happened to be drawing them?
I think in that game, it started to become an actual strategy. I don't
Yes.
think it was earlier in the year though. Like his first interception against Northern Iowa, and then he had his like second against Illinois. I don't think that those were because he was trying to draw a penalty. I think he short armed him, and then the receivers weren't fighting through the defensive back like I thought that they should have. But I think in that Purdue game,
The first 2 picks he had were like 50-50 balls
Yeah.
that the guy just wouldn't, like our
Yeah.
receiver didn't go get it.
yeah, the one against Illinois, Nayor is the target,
Shocking.
and yeah, Brando's like touchdown Nebraska, and then it's like wait, never mind, it's
JK.
Illinois football. What?
That was crazy.
Bad times.
And look, the Illinois guy made a play. Hats off. Whatever. The other thing I was going to ask about this punter is,
Oh boy.
can he throw? Because there was a few moments there where
Mhm.
Brian Buschini looked like the best quarterback on the team. So can this guy throw?
Well, Ed
Because we might need.
Foley's
Hey, he's
no
gonna
longer
roll out.
coaching at Nebraska. He's
Yeah.
doing other things at Nebraska.
Ed
but he's
Foley
not
was
coaching.
Teaching Brian Buschini to throw instead of.
I think so. That was part of his strategy.
Buschini was fine. He was fine. He was fine.
Hey, it worked against Rutgers. They got a first down. They needed that first down. They won that game by 7.
Jalen Lloyd should have scored, but it's fine.
Shaylen Lloyd.
Perfect pass.
Hey,
Pulling out.
Go Pokes.
Oh yeah. And Buschini got absolutely demolished against
Chumbawamba?
Rutgers. Do what?
You're Chumbawamba.
Yeah. I get knocked down. Dude, he got.
smoked.
Yeah.
And so I guess you're trying to avoid that now
That
with rolling out.
that would be nice from Eckler.
Yeah.
Blocking for the punter. What do they have? How many punts blocked? How many kicks blocked last year?
That's the only
Well
thing.
over
North-
10.
Is that the one punt, right?
Yeah.
I think
That's-
it was the one punt. Yeah.
That's the only thing that like seriously concerns me with any punter that rolls out or whatever is like we couldn't even block the guy standing still. Now they have to worry about is he going to run left? Is he going to run right? Like there's a million variables now.
Trust in Mike Eckler.
It's like time.
He is infallible. He is God.
Is he going to have enough time, though? That's what I really want to know. Is he going to have enough time?
Now, so like this whole rugby thing, I've been a Nebraska fan for a long time.
Sure.
Yeah, look at you. You're fucking old.
Dude, I'm old and I've seen.
What
Dude,
are
I
you
got
on
some
now?
gray.
Dude, you have gray in your beard.
Fuck you, dude. Quit looking at me.
Mike, I can
He's
see
like
gray hairs from this side of.
Dude, I don't even have a gray hair.
I can see.
Hey,
Sav
hey!
on
Instead of talking about how old I am, can I finish my thought?
Go for it.
Anyway, I'm thinking of the rugby punting, and as a Nebraska fan, I've seen a lot of things go wrong.
Okay.
Like it's whatever can go. It's Murphy's law, right?
Oh yeah.
For
Lately, especially.
yeah, for Husker teams.
Yeah.
And I also think back to the Illinois game that Friday night. Nebraska did win.
Oh,
And-
the one in Champaign.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we blocked one of their points, and they were a rugby style. And I'm just picturing that, and I'm like, that'll probably happen a few times for us.
They're on the road in State College, PA, and they're about to win the game,
And
and
the
they
whiteout.
roll the Australian punter out, and suddenly he gets hit, and he fumbles, and then Penn State scores and wins like that.
That's awful specific.
Can you imagine doing a post game podcast after that?
Could you imagine you're doing your big red overreaction or
Oh hell!
are you on that one? Because you should be.
We haven't gotten our assignments yet for overreaction. I will try my best to not do the Penn State game. No, thank you. Unless you guarantee that they win, then I would
There
say
you
sign
go.
me up.
There it is.
But if it's what I'm expecting it to be at this moment in time, no thank you.
I'm
Was
going to
it-
speak for him.
That's a
right?
Matt McMaster kind of job.
You know what?
I think so.
Yes. Shout out to McMaster.
Yeah, I think that's a Matt job.
Mhm. Go. What?
Oh, I was say I'm going to speak for Mike right now.
Oh.
Mike is going to guarantee a win against Penn State.
I like it.
No,
Mike is saying that.
But I thought he
not
was
me.
negative. It sounded like you were
I'm
a
not
negative
doing
guy.
any
No,
of those
but for
things.
this one specifically,
You think so?
Mike is guaranteed.
Like game week arrives and he's going to be on the W train.
Yeah,
No.
he's going to bet his vehicle on it.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You're very confident, Mike.
The
I
odds of that
appreciate
happening are the same odds of me getting a face tat if we hit 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. It's not going to happen.
You guys are really close to 1,000
We are.
subscribers.
We're very close.
And
Like and subscribe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Tell your
Mike-
I-80
Yeah, we
cult
hit
members.
We hit 1,000 recently.
Yeah,
Oh,
fuckers.
great.
Pretty cool.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you,
Oh.
thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
very nice. Look at us.
Did you get a little plaque from YouTube?
We got an email that was like, "Congrats on 1,000 subscribers," and it was
Nice.
a picture of 1000. Thank you, YouTube.
Did you?
I will
Okay.
print this and hang this on my wall.
I was going to say, actually,
We would probably put it on our wall.
You should probably print it and frame it.
That's
That'd be
actually a
funny as
pretty
heck.
fun. That's a good bit.
Can we
Yeah.
print and frame your 1,000 on
Yes,
our wall?
yes.
Yeah.
That would. Okay, we're
Will
not.
you
Oh,
autograph
look,
it
you made
for us?
1,000. Oh wait, no, that's not our
That's the
podcast.
I-80 Club.
Hey,
Yeah.
what happens first? We hit 1,000K or Nebraska wins a natty.
Well, 1,000K is
Oh,
a million.
That's a lot of subscribers.
What happens first? We hit 1K or Nebraska wins a natty. What happens
Oh, we're
first?
hitting
hit
1K
100
for sure.
We hit 1K.
I don't know. We've been
20
sitting-
away or something, right?
We're not very far away.
We've been sitting at like 925.
Yeah.
All right,
For a long time.
I'll tweet out a link and I'll say subscribe.
Look at
Yeah.
this, and you're famous, so
Yeah. See, but the
Yeah.
links get throttled now on YouTube, so that's the hard part. So you almost have to tweet out a screenshot of your YouTube and then the follow-up tweet say, "Here you go."
here it is.
That's
so you,
the key.
you know the algorithm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to just tweet links anymore. Everything changed a couple of years ago, and it's brutal.
Oh, weird.
Thanks, Elon.
Yeah, it's not very fun.
Elon.
Ketamine addicted. Fuck.
Okay. I
What?
I'm
I
a
was just gonna
professional.
talk
I'm just
shit.
gonna sit here.
yeah.
Yeah, Josh didn't
No,
say it. I said it.
I didn't
So-
say it.
Elon.
Fuck
and
Elon.
Elon and I are friends. We've never met, but I think we'd be friends.
Jesus.
So
really?
I've just kind of. gone
you was
into
you
that.
was ketamine dealer or something?
Tell him to stop throttling links.
I've tried.
Yeah.
Coward.
As it turns out, every number I've texted is not his.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I've just been like going.
You'll find him eventually.
I've just been going up the numbers
So stupid.
Is this Elon?
So much work.
Hey, it's
It hasn't worked yet.
Okay, now stop. What are we at?
We're at
We got
almost
like 20
47 minutes.
Okay, we got plenty of time. Josh Peterson. Who? And I already know the answer here.
Okay.
So if you say someone different, I'll be like, what the fuck?
All right.
Your favorite player going into this year for Nebraska is?
Wow. Ja'Cory Barney. Right? Isn't that the answer?
Well, I was hoping you would say Emmett Johnson.
Oh, God damn it. I do love Emmett Johnson.
Okay, that's where I was too.
Yeah, sorry.
we know.
Ja'Cory Barney's fun. But yes, I love Emmett Johnson.
You
I wrote
love
it-
Emmett Johnson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you've just
Do you think he's a bell
just,
cow?
just wrote about him on huskermax.com. See, that's the thing I don't know about. You know, the breakdown that I did recently was his last 4 games. If you extrapolate that to a whole season of 12 games, it's 20 and a half touches. So catches and rushes combined. And it was like 1,400 yards. And so when I did that, I was like, God, that is a lot of yards. That's a lot of production.
That's a lot of hammies. That's
It's a lot of hammies. No. So the answer is no. But, and Jack said this when we did our podcast on Saturday, the running back room being so mid is going to work in his favor, or it should, you know, because it's like, who else do you trust behind him? I don't trust anybody. You know, everyone always trying to
What
sell
about
me on.
Ives?
That's what everyone always says.
What about
Quentin
Ives?
Ives? He had to carry one.
It's
time.
I mean, it's the it's the same conversation of, you know, your depth chart. You got to add a piece of ass or something like that.
Yeah, you need the shitty running back.
Yeah, dude.
well,
Just
hey,
throw one ass player in there. Build some confidence.
to be fair, yeah, a lot of fans are saying, what about Quentin Ives? But it's the head coach
I
as
know.
well.
That's
I
the
know.
one I was like, okay, if Nebraska brings in a transfer running back, I don't know if I could trust Matt Rule anymore because he shoved Quentin Ives down my throat so much.
He really has. He's
That-
trying to make Quentin Ives happen.
Right. He's trying to make fetch happen,
But it's Quentin Ives.
but it's
Hey,
Quentin
hey,
Ives.
you know who also was fetch? Jeff Sims.
Oh,
Dude, he shoved
Okay.
Jeff
I know
Sims.
different position, obviously, different expectations.
they missed on that one a little bit.
But
Jeff
A little bit.
Sims.
Just 6 inches.
Remember the Colorado game? Remember that?
Yeah.
Do you remember the Minnesota game? That was cool. We're like,
Yeah.
oh, he'll be fine.
No,
He's just buffing things out.
No, you know what was even worse? You know what was even worse? What game was even worse?
Worse than those
Oh,
games? Purdue.
When he came in,
Purdue.
Maryland.
it was
Oh, that was bad too. He had 3 turnovers in that game.
yeah.
And he didn't start.
Yeah.
He didn't start the game.
It was bad.
Sorry.
I just like
Emmett Johnson.
Just like you're a hunk for Emmett.
Yeah.
Rule is a hunk for Ives.
Yeah.
And
I
so
think I'm going to win on this one.
you're going to
I
win.
think you will.
I think so.
Definitely.
You know more ball than
I
do a
know
ball now.
Emmett Johnson. I'm a part of the Hive. Plus, the last 4 games. Okay, Josh, why do you pick the last 4 games? Because that's when Holgerson was the offensive coordinator. Now, I will say this.
Ooh.
The Wisconsin game is like such an outlier for his entire career. He had almost 200 yards, but in the other 3, he still had close to 100. So, and his reception numbers, he had 39, I think, on the whole year, and he had 23 in the last 4 games.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, he was a different player in those last 4 games.
He was Mr. Minnesota. He was the
Yes.
best player in the state of Minnesota. Now,
It's a big state.
does Minnesota have a lot of talent? I don't know.
People.
Hey,
Lyden Murtha was from Minnesota.
He was.
Nate
Look at
Swift
that.
was from Minnesota.
Yeah. He had a punt return one time. I remember you guys talked about that today.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah. When
I was at that
hey,
game.
there
Oh
you
wait.
go. When was the last punt return?
Yes, it was
You didn't know
JD
until just now.
Spielman against South Alabama.
Yes.
Good Lord.
And they needed
Dude,
that.
they won that game by 14 points. I bet on Nebraska in that game because they were minus like 20 something and a half. I was like, this is easy. And then I was like, what? Adrian looks slow and this is bad. But I was like, everything will be fine. Maybe they're looking
fine.
ahead to the Colorado game.
They're not going to show. They're being vanilla.
Yeah.
I remember that one. Yeah.
They were up
Yeah.
17-0 against Colorado. And I was like, see, I was right because I bet on them against Colorado too, minus
Nat.
7.
My
that was
Lord.
a bummer.
Do you want to know the one thing I've learned? You talk about betting. Do you?
I actually don't bet though. That was like
Okay.
my last year betting
I would say
because I kept betting on Nebraska and I kept losing.
To
Yeah,
bet against
so-
Nebraska and you make money.
Yeah,
so I'm a degenerate.
awesome.
Sick.
And what I've learned,
Respect.
what I've learned is when I bet on college football, you know, you look for specific lines, but when I talk about Nebraska, is I bait the betting gods, right?
Mm.
You never bet on Nebraska. I throw 40, $50 against them, and dare the gods to let the Huskers win.
You dare the god.
And you
Yeah.
usually make money
dare-
then, right?
Yeah, no, I do really good.
Yeah, that's
Um,
awesome.
Yeah, I've been making a lot of money recently.
Shout out.
Um,
Thanks, Rule.
Yeah, but I dare the betting gods, like, fucking give me a win. You won't. And as it turns out, they're very kind. Dude, they love my bank account. But yeah, you
Not
talk
giving
about-
you sports happiness, but giving you wallet happiness.
Yeah, well, so that's the trick, is you never bet on your own team.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
should
the
start
only thing
betting
I've
against the
learned.
Cowboys.
Dude, again, Colts
That's a
fan.
pro.
Yeah,
it
bet
really
against
would.
your
It
own
really would.
team.
There was a moment last year where in my pick'em that I'm in, because that's what I do now. I do a pick'em, and I won a little bit of money a couple of years ago, but I just kept picking Dallas's opponent every single week, and I was like, "This is easy." And my friends were like, "They're not as bad as you think." And then they played the Lions and they lost by 100, and I was like, "What are you talking about? They
Yeah.
are as bad as I think."
They are who you thought they
Look,
were.
they lost by 30. The tackle scored a touchdown.
It's
They're so triggered by the game from 23 that they're just trolling me.
it's
Ugh.
the one question you got to ask yourself is, you always bet on the other team.
Yep.
How much is a win worth to you? Is
Yeah.
it worth $50? Worth 100?
Well, I mean, if they're actually going to be good, then yeah, it'd be worth a lot of money to me.
I'll tell
Now,
you
if they're-
what.
last year when they were 7-10, those wins would have been worth like $10 to me.
I'll tell you what. Bowl game, we played Boston College.
You bet on Boston College.
I put $100 on Boston College.
Was it worth it?
Worth it every cent. Worth it every cent. That game was worth $100 to me.
Hey, Nebraska wanted to.
They tried
They wanted to.
without half the team.
Dude, if
for
they
Boston
would have
College.
if they would have lost that one. It wouldn't have ranked amongst the last 70
The bad
losses, so to say.
You
But
know
it
the 70
would have
ones.
it would have oh yeah. I can tell you where it starts and I can tell you where it ends. But it would have been somewhere in the middle of there.
What is the worst of those 70 losses? Which loss is the worst one that like does not sit well?
he's
It's
got
obvious, right?
Well, okay.
Well, okay, so I'm going to give you a little background on what I'm doing right now
Yes.
because I'm not going to tell you my answer.
Okay.
Because
Right.
I have the answer.
You
so
have the answer.
Jack Mitchell and I were doing the post-game show after the USC loss last year. And he, like 15 minutes in, he started laying out why, as he's called this, the groin kick era of Husker football.
Yep.
And so he started saying this has all the hallmarks. It has the back-breaking turnover. It has a play where a defensive back should intercept it and they don't for some reason. It has X, Y, and Z, all of these things. And then it ends with a penalty, right? That was not called. Remember Banks' jersey is like getting stretched from me to him.
USC, yeah.
And so that gave me this idea of like, this groin kick era, where would it begin? Where would it go to? And how would you rank these losses? And so I decided in that moment, I think that it begins with the BYU loss in 2015.
Hail Mary.
But it's fun to go back one game because they lose by 3 to USC. And it's the first game after their last first down and points in an overtime against Iowa in Bo Pelini's last game. They've since had 8 overtimes. They have negative yardage total. They've never gotten a first down. And so over the last 5 months, I have been putting together a project where I am ranking from 70 to 1 mathematically, because that was the hard part, is what would a formula be? Because I can tell you, I will tell you my answer. I think 21 Iowa is the woat. That game has, I mean, it's a slow motion car crash for 2 hours. I was in the stadium. It was horrible.
Yeah.
You know,
I
think that's the worst one. But myself and a few of my subscribers to the ID Club, we put together a formula of margin of victory or margin of defeat, total yardage stuff. But then we also went a little deeper and found the moment in time where Nebraska's win probability crashed the hardest. And so like a Michigan State, for example,
I was
in
saying Michigan
2021.
State is like
Yes,
screams.
the BYU game. I mean, it literally they're supposed to win, and then the thing happens.
Yeah, 99.
So we did that, and we did a couple other things. And so we put together a formula, and we put all of the numbers in, and it spit out a 1 through 70. And so I
Did
actually
you pop it into Grok? I know you're big.
I didn't ask Elon. I said let me have my links not get throttled, but also how would you rank Nebraska's last 70 losses, Grok? He started talking about South Africa for some reason.
I love it.
It was really, really weird.
Let's see. White genocide's 1.
Yeah.
Number 2 is Iowa
2021. And so I went and recorded recently the first half of this, and then Jack and I are doing some stuff this weekend to put the project all the way together.
hell
So it's like the most sicko shit I've ever done in my entire life.
Am I crazy to
Next
tack
level.
onto this to say, like, for me, it's Northwestern in Ireland, right? Like Northwestern wins one game that season. They win one game that season, and it's us.
It was the only win.
The most memorable thing about that game is I still can't stop seeing Pat Fitzgerald put that fucking thing on his head.
Yeah, that little crystal,
The crystal helmet.
helmet. Yeah.
If that does not give you pain, I don't know what it is.
Well,
I can't imagine.
Maybe if we were on the Frost train, then yes. But we were already off. We were already.
Yeah.
It was
No,
like
I get
classic
that.
Frost.
It was like I told you so.
It
That,
really-
that
yeah.
was the ultimate. I remember listening to the radio. That was the most.
I was pissed because
told
that
you
whole
so.
offseason, people were, they're
You're
going to be really
wrong.
good. They're going to be really good.
Yeah.
Why would they be good?
Why would they be?
Why have they've never been good? Why will they be good now? I was so mad. And they fired him. It's like, what a waste of a season. This sucks.
Yeah. And then Mickey almost got the job.
And then Mickey almost got the
And
job.
then Mickey didn't get the job. He did not get the job.
Thank God.
He did not.
Mickey did get something.
Mickey.
Charges.
Mickey.
Hey, chill.
You silly naughty boy. Mickey. Okay.
How is Grambling State?
Yeah, it was scrambling.
I don't know.
Okay, let's
Softball
see.
team did well. What's weird is that's not just out of the. Their softball team's doing well.
Oh, good. I'm sure Mickey coaches.
Jesus,
Yeah.
dude. I'm trying to figure out because we're kind of up against it. All right. I know we went around this. We did this 2 weeks ago. We talked about time. Trust in Mike Eckler.
Yeah.
Trust in Matt Rule. TIMR.
Yeah, what's
rating.
your TIMR?
TIMR.
Rating? You got to.
Ooh.
What is your TIMR rating?
Well, let's start off because let him, kind of marinate.
Read the room.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am sitting
So 1 to 10?
1 to 10.
Okay.
I'm at a 5.2.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not going to do any justification because I don't want to give you like any ideas or anything.
Yeah.
5.2. Hey, Mike.
I don't remember what I was at last time. Do you remember my rating last time? I think I'm at like a 6.
I think 6 was probably.
I think that's right around what you gave
Yeah,
last time.
I'm like a 6.
Mine has not changed. I chose mine very deliberately. It is still a 6.8.
Almost nice.
Almost, but it's not nice yet.
almost
6.8.
Win over Cincinnati, and you're feeling pretty nice.
Win over
Nice.
Cincinnati, and we get to nice.
Hell yeah.
That would be a long drive back.
What I say? I think I was at like a
You were at
7.
like a 7 or
Yeah, like
8.
7.2, something like that. 7.1 maybe.
Okay.
I was somewhere in there.
Josh Peterson, what do you think?
I think I'm with you. 6 was the first number that came to mind.
6.
Yeah.
Solid 6.
I think, and so this project that I've been working on, it's a really good reminder that the Scott Frost era has just kind of continued in terms of horrific losses.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I put all the math in, a lot of the top 20 is stuff that's happened recently.
Oh, 1,000%.
And Minnesota, obviously, right? Like
1,000%.
his whole era kicks off with that, the losing streak to finish up 23. And I mean, they won by 19 against Wisconsin last year. So in the end, it kind of is forgotten.
But I mean, like Iowa in the year.
That you could make an argument that that's the number one.
That could be that could be number 7.
20 first downs to 5. And Nebraska, they had, I think it's 4 bad plays. It's the muff punt, which only led to 3. Caleb Johnson's run, then the sack fumble, and then the Nair drop. And it's like those 4 plays. One of those 4 goes Nebraska's way, and they're going to win the game.
Yep.
It's like that's the part that I keep coming back to when I think of my level of buy-in, or what did you call it?
TIMR.
My
Trust in Matt
TIMR?
Rule.
Yeah, that's why if you would have asked me this a year ago, it would have been higher than a 6. But I think last year kind of did a bit of a number on me. I just need to see like a competent season again. Like they've made a bowl, they obviously stepped forward, but need to see a little bit more.
And so like I'm in the same boat. Like I feel like it would be higher just because I'm a thumper. Like I love Nebraska football.
Think
I've
they're
always
going to
been
win
a
a
fan.
natty.
Yeah,
Right.
the whole thing.
So I would be higher, but like when you see Nebraska challenging plays that only equate to 2 yards and then losing that challenge for whatever reason you challenged it in the first place, that's where I'm like, we talk about this all the time when it comes to our TIMR ratings. It's like there are a lot of things in game. He's great in front of the media, and then you get into a game and there are a lot of questionable shit going on.
Yeah, for sure.
So
That's why I'm at a 5.2 because those things, like, I don't want to say it's ingrained in you and either you have it or you don't, but Matt Rule's coached a lot of football.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
In the NFL too. And I know that didn't go well. But you're still in the NFL.
Well.
It's like you would think a guy like that would have good game management, but it's like you still have issues with that. And so that's why I'm at a 5 point.
I always say, like, there is like a blackjack rule book. If you sit in a casino and you play blackjack, you can ask the dealer, hey, I'm looking at like a 13 to your 18, and it'll tell you, yeah, you should probably hit. It's just how the blackjack book works. It's the same thing with football management. Like in-game management, there are certain scenarios where, yeah, you should hit, or you should do this, or you should call a timeout, or you should, whatever it might be. There's a blackjack
And he
playbook.
doesn't always do that.
Yeah, and it seems like I'm sitting on my couch going, hey, you should do this, and they don't.
Yeah.
So, Josh, I have a question for you. A lot of people want to talk about, like, we're into year 3 of Matt Rule.
Yeah.
And we saw, and we've asked this of a lot of guests at Baylor and Temple, a year 3 pop.
This was the year at both of those spots.
So when he was at Baylor and Temple, when he got that year 3 pop, those were obviously in different eras of college football.
Yep.
If you could talk to the average fan right now, what would you be telling them about what they should expect out of Matt Rule in year 3? Because in my opinion, I don't think that expectation of what they had seen at Temple and Baylor is fair. What would you tell them is a measure of success for Matt Rule in year 3 after going 7-6 this last year?
Yeah, I agree with you. So those two spots, year 3 was 2015 for Temple, right? And then year 3 was 2019 for Baylor. And that Baylor team was, they were in the Big 12 championship game. They lost by a field goal, I think, in overtime or something.
And they started with a scandal.
Yeah, yes. And he took over, at a true rock bottom. I think, take a step back. I don't think that expecting like a 10 or 11 win season is anywhere near in the cards because of how much the sport has changed, because those rosters were built on continuity and this one is not, right? It's 3 new coordinators essentially, and then a lot of new players on defense, new receivers, et cetera, et cetera.
And you're coaching against some of the best in the country in the Big Ten.
Yeah. And they at least they avoid Ohio State and Oregon this year. I think if you get to the end of the season and you're saying, I believe that he has them on the right track, I feel like it has to start with at least 8 in the regular season. Like that's the number that I keep falling back on, because I am now, I think Sam McEwen did this around 21, maybe it was 20 and 21 before COVID, but he was looking at Frost almost as like this 2-year, he has to have X number of combined wins. And I think I'm looking at this right now almost as a 2-year project, because they have Dylan Raiola back in theory for a 3rd year. The playoff is probably going to be at 16. So it's like, is there a world where they are a true playoff competitor in 2026? And like, that sounds ridiculous on its face, but I think that should be the goal. If they're not expecting to go to a playoff with Dylan Raiola at quarterback, like when are you going to expect to go to a playoff? So it's like, okay, so what does the number look like of combined wins, right? If you say 8 is good, I'd probably say you want to be at 18 over the next 2 regular seasons, And so whether it's 9-9 or 8-10 or God forbid 7-11, like that's, I think, what you're really talking about in terms of Matt Rule is, who we thought he was when he was hired in November of 22.
Yeah, I like that. Like after 2 years, you should be sitting at 18. And so you look at him this year and he only wins 7. You're like, okay, well, the odds of you winning 11 next year, not great, tough. So you start to base your TIMR rating based off of what you do this year to get you to that 18 in year 2.
I think people, because I've been thinking about this a ton lately. I think people going into next year, that's the thing. They just want to know, do they believe in him or do they not believe in him? And so, like, let's say they went 5-7 this year. That's going to answer a lot of questions. If they went 11-1 this year, that would answer a lot of questions. They're not going to do either of those things. So the number, I think that's why 8 is kind of this nice, great dividing line. Anything above it, I think people are going to be, there are a lot of cynics, with Matt Rule. And I think part of that's just the Nebraska football experience has brought in a lot of cynicism. But there's also a lot of people that are totally in, and they're like, Matt Rule, their Twitter avatars are Matt Rule and Matt Rule believer, whatever it is, like Rule. Those folks. And so like nothing is really going to bring them down this year. But I think for the normal average fan, I think 8, I would say that is progress. That's 2 more wins than they had last year. And I would think that it has to mean some modicum of closing games the right way. We talked about it a few minutes ago. The Maryland, Wisconsin back-to-back in 13, with the way that they mismanaged the games in completely unique ways. Of one game, they throw the ball for some reason with Chubba Purdy. And then the next game, I had forgotten it until I was working on my project. It's 1st and 10, and then it's 2nd and like 3, and they're inside the 20, and there's like a minute 20 something to go, and then they run like 2 more plays right into the line, and then they have to kick a field goal. And it's like, wow, you guys could have like done something with this, and then instead you kind of punted on it. So, managing those situations at the end of games, that's how you earn back the trust of why you're a 5-2 and why you're a 6, and why you're a 6-8 and you're a 7-2. Like, that's how you start earning trust back a little bit, is, whoa, they won a game because they managed the hell out of it and the other team didn't. Like, we haven't been able to say that at any point so far.
Right. They ran the clock down when they should have ran it down. They executed a 2-minute drill like they say they do in practice every day. Mm-hmm. It's the little things that we've seen, all these 1-score losses where it's like, hey, the other coaching staff is just outclassing you right now.
Yeah.
It's over and over and over again. That's what those little losses mean. So
the most impressive win I think that he has so far in terms of how he managed everything was actually not in-game management, but it was the week. And I think that's the Illinois game in 23. Like, that was a ass whooping against Michigan. They should have been shut out before the Fleeks touchdown. They practiced the next day, and then they play on a Friday on the road. And I think that was a put up or shut up kind of game for the program. And I thought that they responded really, really well. Now, like the Colorado win, or at least the first half last year, I think was a more impressive deluge of points. But I thought like that Illinois game, things were kind of teetering.
Okay, so you go back to the Illinois game. And I do agree with you in the vacuum of that game. They won, and it was a short week. And yeah,
it was also ugly as hell.
Yeah, I mean,
they fumbled it a billion times.
That's my favorite kind of football right there, baby.
You had to love that game then.
Army. It's my favorite team, Army.
Hunkin' for Hunkin'.
Yeah, go Navy.
No, so a moment in that Illinois game was that goal line stand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. First drive of the whole game.
It should have been the catapult for the rest of the season, but it did not end up being the catapult for the rest.
It almost was. They won 3 games in a row starting in that game. Remember, they went undefeated in October. They beat Northwestern. Right. Yeah. They beat Purdue.
Yeah, I remember.
Jeff Sims came onto the field and fumbled it for some reason.
I was sick.
Yeah, I remember making a Napoleon Dynamite video about that. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I just remember like that moment. It's like, yeah, because like you said, you alluded to it. They went on that losing streak at the end of his first season, and I don't know. That practice that they had after the game, he like called the team out.
Oh yeah.
And he said, like, I don't know if it was bloodbath or anything like that.
Mark Banker.
Mark Banker did with Iowa. But yeah, I mean, that's a good pick. I like that pick.
Yeah.
But yes, they need to stop melting down in the fourth.
Yeah.
And stop going. Their little balloon knots going. Stop doing that.
Since the Michigan loss, after that, they lost 4 games the rest of that year. And then obviously this last year, they lost 6. 9 of those, so what's that? 9 of 10 have been by a score.
It's so annoying.
I mean, it's the same shit as it was under Frost at the very end. Yeah. It's like, that's the thing. And maybe, I don't think that a win over Boston College in a baseball stadium is going to be like the thing.
No.
That, like, we now know how to win 1-score games because they were up 20-2. They shouldn't have been a 1-score game. Right. But like, they almost melted, and they were able to hold on, and they drew a really stupid foul on Boston College, and they got it done. Like, I'm so curious about the opener against Cincinnati, if it's close, and just like how Arrowhead is just like, oh, not again.
We've felt the air get taken out of stadiums over and over and over.
That place is gonna be all red.
Yeah,
all red.
It's gonna feel like a home game if it goes sideways.
Well, okay, Josh, at the beginning of this episode, we talked about how Nebraska is different. Okay, but you were referring to the fans, right? And how, groin kick, right?
Oh, yeah.
But you're telling me that the players don't feel that too.
Bullshit.
It's different here. And not just for us because we've suffered for a while, but it's different for the players, man. You're going to tell me that Jeff Sims is that bad? You think he's that bad? Or did Nebraska just break him a little?
Well, I actually do think he's that bad based off of what he did at Georgia Tech.
Nobody's that bad.
No, he was that bad.
No, I don't think he's that bad.
I'm with you. I don't think he was that bad.
I think he was talented.
Because he was generationally bad. Like, you know how we talked about Jordy Ball being generational talent? He was the other way? Yeah. Jeff Sims is the other way. He's not that bad.
Okay.
There's no way.
Hear me out.
Damn it, this is another 20 minutes.
Jeff Sims came out of Georgia Tech. if I'm correct. Yeah.
Indeed.
He hadn't played a conference like he did when he came to the Big Ten.
And he like led the nation in turnovers.
Yeah.
Well, I
he
think
had
the big-
already done that.
I think the bigger issue with him was that the Nebraska football of it all was way too much for him to handle.
The Amigos.
The Amigos sponsorships.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know,
The
instead of
greasy-
some
the
delicious
greasy
pizza, for
fumble
example.
burritos that they had there.
Yeah, I think it was that. I think it was that stuff that it was just, you know, sometimes the lights turn on and people wilt, and I think that sphincter tight.
Yeah. So
Is it or zzz?
can I?
Mike, do it. Okay, sorry, Connor.
We talk about Jeff Sims as a pass quarterback, and Josh, you mentioned talking about next year possibly expanding to a 16-team playoff,
Mhm.
and Nebraska possibly being a part of that conversation.
Yeah.
When we look to the future, let's say we get 3 years out of Dylan Raiola, I think we probably get 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That means that maybe it didn't go the way that we
If we
wanted
get,
to.
if we get 4 years out of Dylan Raiola, then a lot of bad things happen.
But I want to look. Let's say we only get 3.
Okay.
We have
Hopefully, get
TJ
there.
Lateef committed right now,
Mhm.
and we have his younger brother Dayton
Yep.
committed.
And
Or-
Trey Taylor.
TJ
Yeah.
Lateef will not play down in Nebraska.
Actually,
Okay.
he'll.
But sorry, go
so,
on.
Well, so my question is, do you see Nebraska's QB room in a position to see continued success? Are we looking at something that you think might be moderate, or like for what we saw in Dylan out of a true freshman year
Mhm.
was kind of I think what we all expected, at least for the people that like understood this kid's 19.
Yeah.
Do we see it like continued success? Are these guys that can push this program forward?
Oh man, I think a lot of it's going to come down to who the play caller is, right? Like I think that Holgerson definitely changes the equation. You know, if they were running it back this year with
Run it
Satterfield,
back.
ooh, I'd be saying going back to the other question, I'd be like, 6 wins might be good. You know, like
No
if
shit.
seriously, if Satterfield's
Fire.
back. So I think a part of it's that. I think a quarterback room is so hard for me to even like. It's not that I don't care about it now, but just with the portal, it's just like, what, Lateef, like, I mean, you say that and it's like,
Yeah.
who am I to argue with you that Lateef's not going to, play it down at Nebraska?
Well, he is,
Or
because if
Trey
Dylan gets
Taylor.
hurt, that's who's going to play. Heiner
Yeah.
Harburg is not going to play.
Like
No,
Trey,
there's
Trey
no way.
Taylor is a 20
No.
class of 27, like that is stupid to even imagine. What's he going to start in 2029? I'm not going to think about
Yeah.
2029. So I think a lot of it's going to come down to Holgerson. And I think that's why, like, not to put everything on this year, but the proof of concept of this year is so vital for the program because if they're good and the offense is putting up points and the receivers, like if all of that is clicking and then they can say, see, we did it. Now, I think it just makes recruiting a whole
Right.
lot easier moving forward.
Now you don't just say, "Hey, we've got a 5-star quarterback."
Bingo. Like, it's just nice to be able to, like, the example I always love using is Penn State back in 2016, because at that moment in time, Penn State, like Nebraska, was a help us, reach these goals of years gone by. And they beat Ohio State and they win the conference. And then at that, and I know they haven't taken the next step since, but it's always like, okay, so now we did that. Now help us take the next step. And they've obviously been a much better program in those 10 years than they were in the previous 10 years before 2016. Nebraska needs to find themselves in that scenario where they can say, come help us get over. Now we've gotten over this hump, the baby hump. Now let's get over the bigger humps. And I think if you have a good offense, or at least a serviceable offense,
And you're winning games.
Yeah.
and it looks fun, and Dylan Riles whipping the ball around the field.
And the thing that, like last year, Holgo only had 4 games to play with, right?
Yep.
And
Know
so,
the guys' names.
seriously, he just knew 20 or no,
21.
Remember-
That's
no.
EJ, baby.
no, number 4. Why isn't that big motherfucker blocking?
Yeah.
Damn it.
No, I
okay,
swear
so-
to God, that's exactly what he said when he went in that
big-
room.
Yeah.
He's like, what?
You should be
You're 6'4",
taking your guy down.
215. Why
Tough
can you
look
not
for
block?
Garrett McGuire. Really tough look.
Hey,
What's up with these
yeah.
receivers?
Wonderkin.
They don't block.
What's going on
Have you told them to?
yeah, if they block, are they going to run stadium stairs or something? Like, is it a punishment to block?
No, they get the rock if they don't block. Right?
Freaking A, baby.
That's the name of the pod.
Yeah.
God, look at him.
But no, I think
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just like so many things. 4 games to work with. When he came here, Nebraska's red zone scoring was like 120th.
Mm-hmm.
They would if Holga would have done the same thing over the course of the season, they would have been like 50th. So he made a big difference there.
Yeah, take that.
And so, yes, I don't blame a lot of the Roulade, Kool-Aid, Holgo aid drinkers because he did that in 4 games. You have a whole off season now. Let's get this thing fucking rolling, please.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
and I wouldn't be surprised if, although Dylan's touchdown interception ratio wasn't great, and yes, it's kind of misleading because of the interceptions weren't always on him. But I mean, a touchdown interception ratio, we're looking at maybe this year, give me 25 and 9.
I was going to say, I think you want low to mid 20s is what you'd be okay with. And anything above that, you're great. And then a single digit number for interception.
25 and 9. That's where I'm at. Okay. I know.
Well, no, all I was going to say was the comment about Penn State about, we start at this level and we go to the next step.
Yeah.
We get there and then let's build the next step. I think that's something that not only the administration, but Husker fans need to get on board with is building the path to success one brick at a time. Because frankly, like we have sucked for a very long time.
Long time. 22 wins in the last 5 years.
Yeah. We
Yes.
sucked. For a long
Sorry.
You
time.
mentioned that earlier.
To bring it down
Yeah.
as we
Well,
say
Wait, 22
goodbye.
Big Ten wins.
22 wins, baby.
Oh, just overall.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
tough,
like
tough hang.
get
So
okay
bad.
with like, let's drop one brick at a time.
Well, everybody always says at the beginning of a season or a coaching era, like, oh, I'm okay with incremental progress. That sounds good. But then you have to watch the games and you're pissed. You're like, why are they doing this? Year 2 of Rule, as miserable as it was throughout the last half of the season, it fit the bill of what
Progress.
they went 6-6. They got to a bowl, which people said, I'll do anything for a bowl game. Well, they gave it to you. Sorry that it looked like shit for a lot of those losses.
Right.
Like there is a part of me too that wonders, what if they beat Iowa, and then they win a bowl and suddenly they're 8-5 instead of 7-6. They pick up another win versus, you finish the season with Wisconsin and Iowa in your back pocket. Like they haven't done that ever. No, I guess in 2012 they beat, but then they lost to Wisconsin by 100.
right.
So it kind of
Yeah, it was
reversed,
not a fun
reversed both of those games.
Yeah, you would have beat up your bullies finally.
Yeah.
Right? Like a Christmas story, beating the
Yeah,
shit out of them.
but you still started it with Big Bert coming in and beating you at home.
That was a bad time.
Yeah.
That was a bad time.
True. Anything else?
I don't think so.
I'm
You
good.
sure? Mike's over here going, what are we at?
Hey,
We're at almost an hour 20. I just got to say, hey, great conversation.
hey, it was fun.
This was fun.
Time
Thanks for
flies
having me,
having fun.
guys.
We appreciate you coming on.
Yeah.
Hey, plug yourself. Tell
Yeah.
our people,
Our 240 people watching.
tell them where they can follow you or watch you.
So I host on Sportsman Iconic with John Bishop. We're on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com and the 1620 The Zone YouTube page, et cetera, Monday to Friday, 2 to 6. The I-80 Club. Subscribe to our YouTube page, or if you want bonus episodes, patreon.com/ID Club. The thing that I've been talking about earlier, it's called the Groin Kick Chronicles. It is going to premiere, I think, later this month. It will be 10 episodes, and we're doing all sorts of bonus episodes around it, including interviews, and we're going to do something we call Be Kind Husker Rewind, where we watch games, and we're going to watch some real shit. So if you want to watch horrible, painful losses, like 2015 BYU, for example, come subscribe. We
Everyone
would love to
watch
have
that
you.
again,
And then I write on HuskerMax.com.
Is that a
as well.
snuff film?
Basically, yeah. I mean, it's a good time, except for there's this one play that goes against them.
I remember
Play.
Jordan Westerkamp had a cool touchdown in that game.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It's funny. We're I'm not going to give away all the ones that we're watching, but we're doing that. And the games, I would say, not only do they get more horrifying, but they get less enjoyable as well. Like at least the BYU game was fun.
You're starting with BYU.
That's the
Saying
first
they
one
get
we're gonna.
less enjoyable.
Yeah, in terms of watching, it was a fun
Awesome.
game until the Hail Mary.
Groin Kick is
Yeah.
literally a perfect name.
Yeah,
for
the
that.
Groin Kick Chronicles.
That's why it's called that.
Yep,
I mean,
coming soon.
what do
I'm
you
gonna
want?
be
The last
found-
year's Wisconsin beatdown? That's not a groin kick.
You
want
want
a
to
groin
found
kick?
in my living room, just curled up in a ball, crying.
Bad times.
Your face just on the screen.
Okay.
Thanks for having me, guys.
We
Thank you,
appreciate
Josh.
man.
You're amazing. I don't care what people say about you.
Wow, that's the kindest
You know?
thing anyone has ever said. I don't care what people
You
say.
catch a lot of flack. You know that?
People kind of hate me
You
sometimes.
do catch strays.
But, and this is not like, I'm not trying to be the head glazer at Dunkin' Donuts, but whenever you talk football, whenever you talk Husker football,
Yeah.
you know what the fuck you're talking about.
Let's go.
Hey, best on the airwaves.
Now that's the nicest thing anyone's ever
Okay,
said.
now,
to me.
whoa.
Okay, hey, keep going.
Glazer.
Keep
When-
going. Keep going.
When they talk Husker football,
Fucking A.
it's the best show on the airwaves. Now, all the other crane shit, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, the movies they talk about every once in a while, I'm interested in.
Yes. Movie Club has become very much a hot and cold segment for some people where they're like, I'm in my car on Friday,
Tuned out.
and why are you talking about a movie? I don't care.
Tuned out.
I
That's
want to
me.
hear Husker football.
Husker football
Yeah.
at all times.
Yes.
Sorry.
Okay, guys, nbnrpodcast.com. All our socials are the same handle. We make it very easy for you guys. NBNR Podcast. That's the one on YouTube, too. Go follow us on YouTube. Hopefully, we got a
1,000
few more
subs.
Come on.
Let's get them there.
I want the email.
Mike is getting a face tat. The second
A corn
we get to
cob
1,000.
right
Any
there.
of these things.
It's like a teardrop.
That's
Little
awesome.
corn.
That's pretty cool.
It's
man.
gonna be sick. Can't wait.
I can't wait to see it.
It's going to have like all the
Just
kernels
like
in
Can
it.
stream it live on YouTube.
Just like
Yeah.
a future Husker natty. Probably not gonna happen.
What's more like a corn cob tat or natty? I'm one of your hosts, Jared Hall.
Mike Delaware.
Connor Cadillac.
Kyle Byers.
Josh Peterson.
As always, we can say this now. Beat Cincinnati in GPR.